Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. Now I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is inside this range right here. Now notice here how we had these two legs down. We bounced off that previous swing, and this basically confirms our overnight low is right here. Of course, both these swings are within the overnight session. And now we push up here, two legs down, pushing off the overnight low, pushing above the EMA, very strong. Now, like I said, I didn't start trading until here, but I'm going to explain what I would have liked to see had I been trading a bit earlier. So after we have this push up right here, we get this break. Now, what I would like to see is we push back above the EMA with a swing holding on top of the EMA. That way we can get a clear entry to make a second leg up. When you come off one side of a range, you can expect price to reach the other side, and it's very common you'll get that in 2 attempts. It all goes back to the foundation of the second entry, basically. Two-legged moves are very important, but you have to see the bigger context that they're in. So we can expect 2 attempts to reach the other side. And so when we rush all the way down and we don't rush back above and get an entry, we push all the way back down. It's possible that it could just be forming a double bottom. Every now and then, or I shouldn't say every now and then, it's actually pretty common, but sometimes you'll get a double test of a key level and then it'll just recover. So as it's pushing all the way back lower here, the bears are winning out in the moment, but the point is it can easily recover still. But you don't want to enter right into the EMA as the bears are taking control. So you don't want to enter right into the EMA. It's clearly down. It's getting very choppy at this point anyway. And so you don't want to enter long right into that, but then also, even though the bears are starting to win out, you don't want to go short here. This is right into the overnight low level, so this is still not an area to go short. So you just kind of have to sit on your hands in an area like this. But anyway, we do push on down here, and so which I should also mention this downtrend possibility, which I say possibility because in the moment right here, you don't know for sure if this downtrend is going to confirm, but it does end up confirming here. In order to go long, I would have just liked to see a clear push out with a couple attempts down, holding on the EMA. That could have been great for a leg up, but we continue with this downtrend right here, and then we get this break. Now, some may view this as downtrend, break, attempt at a new low, and then failure. But I just view this whole thing right here as the downtrend, and then this leg up as the break. So right here, we get downtrend, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. Now, notice here how we have this, after we break out of that overnight low, we have that first attempt to fade, second attempt. Now, I do want to address this second attempt is not nearly as big as this first attempt, but it is one price action level at a time. So, the first price action level you'd see here is uptrend, break, and then first attempt higher, and then it makes a new high on that first attempt, immediately leading into a reversal. But you do eventually have to zoom out, look at it on a bigger picture. We can see on a bigger picture, it's not just a reversal from this small play out. You have a downtrend, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. You're getting a couple attempts to fade this overnight low after we broke out of it. So clear attempt, rejection, second attempt, very clear rejection when we get that red bar there. So I like this. And because of what I was explaining and how it was clearly getting very bearish, and then after these rejections here, I didn't mind pushing it past this measured move here. Of course, we also had this larger measured move in play. But, I had no problem pushing it past this measured move right here. I wasn't going to go for a crazy target because, this is still technically here, but considering the bigger picture price action, I'm not going to be worried about pushing it a couple points below this pretty small measured move level. So anyway, we push on lower here. At this point, the downtrend has a break and a new low, so we could reverse, but we also have this measured move here, and price was very bearish. It was just cranking down towards that measured move. And so here, we get a couple of corrections that don't reach the EMA, and then we get, sideways, and then we get this first entry short off the EMA. Now, first entries are already not good. But considering it was a very strong push higher there, I think this one is really not good because, once again, you don't want to enter on a first entry, especially if it's there's a huge bullish bar right before it and you're wanting to enter short. But it does end up pushing lower here, and we, really drop on down from there. And so we reach that measured move right here, And notice how we have a very small bounce right there. And then, we push lower, and then we have this, clear rejection off this level right here. Now, even though this rejection, or, this bounce from this overnight low level, or excuse me, I didn't mean to say overnight low, this measured move level, we have a clear bounce from this measured move level, even though it wasn't very significant and it didn't fully on reverse there. These measured move levels are clearly important. Notice we had this leg down, and then the biggest correction in that whole leg is right when it's at that measured move. So it's not always going to lead to a reversal, or a great looking trade, but I just want to point out that they are important, and this is absolutely not a coincidence that it bounced right there. These are strong levels here. So unfortunately, we get this first entry short, and you don't want to take a first entry short directly into the measured move level, but we do end up pushing through it. We break out, we retest that level here, but we don't get a clear entry. We do get a couple legs up. You can see we have that first leg up, break, second leg up, retesting it, but we are inside of this uptrend right here, and then also, it really does kind of just on a bigger picture look like one leg up. So it's not a very clear short right here. So I just avoided it. But when we dropped on down here, when we keep on pushing lower, even though, we're getting these very, big moves down, and I'm not catching a whole lot of it, I wasn't able to predict that we would push on down here. Like some may ask, why did I only go for 1-to-1? And it's simply because I had no idea it was going to end up turning into this. As far as I was concerned, I thought, like I said, as far as I was concerned, we still had this measured move in play right here, and I was keeping it 1-to-1, not pushing it too far because of that. Now, like I said, I didn't mind pushing it past it because of the other reasons, but I wasn't predicting this whole move down here. And so anyway, when we push on down here, this just confirms to me, okay, we're getting extremely bearish, because even if the whole day is very bearish, if you get to a major measured move, it can easily reverse and recover and no longer be a bearish day, but it can turn back into a range day. But at this point here, when we retested that and just plummeted down, this is telling me, okay, this is an extremely bearish day. It's likely to be a downtrend all day. And so with these lows here, I adjusted them around a bit to see where they fit best, but we kept overshooting it and then chopping around that area. So after we pushed lower here, we started moving back up and going into this range. I extended this lower trend line down to here, and it was clearly fitting decently well off of it. You can clearly see those reactions there, and then we continue to react even further down here. But after we pushed lower here, we started forming this range. There's really no clear entries either direction, considering how bearish it was. All these long entries are right into the EMA. There's no way that you want to enter anything long in here. But also considering we just don't get any clear short setups, there's nothing to take to go short either, unfortunately. So, nothing in here. We just kind of chopped sideways and eventually broke out, continued lower. Now, we continued bouncing off that trend line, but we did overshoot. And now, as soon as we overshot, we immediately started pushing higher, pretty strong. And so, once again, we overshot. We started going into this uptrend here. Now, when you are coming off one side of a channel, you can expect a couple attempts to reach the other side, and you have to wait for a couple attempts to reach the other side before you continue short. So if you bounce off the lows of a downtrend, you still want to see 2 attempts higher before you continue short, because, kind of like with a range, when you come off one side, you expect price to reach the other side. Same things in channels. Even though channels have a bias, of course, a trend, it's still important to wait on a couple attempts to reach the other side. And so, one important thing to understand is, even in a very bearish downtrend, and this is a little bit more advanced, because it's technically counter-trend trading, what I'm about to say here, but you can look for an entry to make the second leg at a new high. But whenever I do that in a strong trend, I always limit to 1-to-1, even if there's well enough room more. But in this case, we don't get that. Now, what you could have gotten was a very clear, very big picture failed second entry, and you could have looked to buy and get in on a second leg up. But unfortunately, for the longs, we don't get that here. We just kind of get this uptrend, break, and now, some may say uptrend, break, push to a new high, and then attempt to reverse, and then failure. But the way I view this really is we just have this one leg up here, and then this is our break. So we have uptrend, break, start making that second leg higher here, and then clearly, you know, we still have this measured move in play right here, and this short on this bar right here is right into this trend line. So even though we're bearish overall, we have to consider a few things. We have a bullish measured move in play. We just overshot. Overshoots lead to breaks. You know, overshoots lead to strong breaks. That's why the whole reason that you're, notice how you're getting these, pushes higher here right after the overshoot. That's not a coincidence, because it's because overshoots lead to breaks. And so, considering all of that, even though it's bearish overall, there's just too many bullish things happening for me to enter into this trend line. I have to wait for it to close out because, like I said, there's just simply too many bullish things in play to confidently enter into a support level. And so I waited for the closeout. Luckily, it was just one bar after, and it didn't affect the RR too badly. So, I just got in right after that, 1-to-1. Really like that trade here, and I also want to address this right here, this short. I do like this short, but I missed it because it was right after I got out, and then this is around the time I stop anyway, so I just wasn't paying attention. But before I started making this video, it happened, and so clearly, I just want to go over. We had those 2 attempts. It couldn't even reach the measured move, and it just plummeted straight down, continuing with the extremely bearishness. The bears were basically controlling this whole day. And that continued right here. And so when we get this lower high, closing on its low, extremely bearish, I like that. It's a momentum trade. It's been going straight down all day, basically. And so when you get 2 attempts to reverse and it just fails very strong, and then you get a very strong lower high right after that, yeah, to me, that just looks great. So it's unfortunate I missed that. Hopefully some other folks got it. But we push on lower here. We go into this range, starting to get choppy at the end of the day. Not too uncommon. So, like right here, now we're getting these 2 legs up. It would have been good to get a couple legs up to this upward trend line right here, because the range was pretty clear at that point already. We could have gotten a couple legs and found a short, but unfortunately we did not get that. We're getting these couple legs up, pushing out. So maybe what could happen is we push lower here and get a lower high. That would be great, just a lower high or possibly a failed second entry pushing back in to continue with this bearish bias, or really I should say this downtrend, this full-on downtrend day. So we could get something like that. So watch out for that if you're still trading by the time you see this video. But anyway, so that's going to do it for this video. Hope it helped out in some way. I appreciate you watching this. And, yep, I'll see you next time.